Welcome to D&D Original Character. My name is Eric, and today we're looking at 10 more of my favorite spells in D&D 5e. On this list, we'll go over numbers 11 through 20. If you want to see my top 10 favorite spells, you can click on the link in the description below or go to my top 10 playlist. Without further ado, let's get into the list. With number 20, we have Steel Wind Strike. This is probably the most anime of all D&D spells. This is a 5th level spell that's available primarily to wizards and rangers. You choose up to 5 creatures in range. The range is limited to only 30 feet, so you have to be pretty close or surrounded by your targets. You make a melee spell attack, and on a hit, the target deals 6d10 force damage. Based on the flavoring of the text description, you're basically teleporting and hitting these targets in a flash. You can then teleport to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of one of the targets. This spell has a potential for 30d10 damage if all attacks hit their intended targets. This makes you really feel like Nightcrawler from X-Men, Kizaru from One Piece, or my favorite character from Naruto, the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Number 19 is Phantom Steed. This is a 3rd level spell which can be cast as a ritual. It's available to wizards primarily, but it can also be grabbed through the ritual caster feat or the Pact of the Tome with the Book of Ancient Secrets invocation for warlocks. This spell basically provides us with a riding horse, except that the steed has a speed of 100 feet and disappears if it takes any damage. At the very least, a ritual spell that grants us a 100-foot movement speed for an hour, even if it only lasts for 1 round of combat, is definitely worth casting. It's also primarily used outside of combat as a means of fast travel. Because the spell states it's a quasi-real horse-like creature, I think the reflavoring into like a panther or a wolf is really easy and keeps the creativity open-ended. At 18, we have Illusory Dragon. I spoke about this spell in my Madara build video, but Illusory Dragon is my second favorite 8th level spell. We create this huge shadowy dragon. It causes the fear effect on any enemy that can see it within range, and if the enemy fails on a wisdom save, it is frightened. It's a tangible entity with a flying speed of 60 feet. We can then use a bonus action to fire off a massive 60-foot cone breath weapon of acid, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, or poison damage. Enemies can use their action to make an investigation check to see if the dragon is real or not. But even if they succeed on this investigation check, they're still eating into their action economy, and they only gain advantage on their saving throw against the breath weapon if they succeed on this check. It's just a really impactful and unique way of using your concentration at higher levels. Number 17 is a newer spell from Fizzbands and is only 2nd level. With Rime's Binding Ice, as an action we create a 30-foot cone of cold energy. Creatures then make a Constitution saving throw. Cones are not always easy to place, and Constitution saves are the worst saves to target. So why do I like this spell? Well, on a fail, a creature takes 3d8 cold damage, and that's fairly average for its level, but they are also then hindered by the ice for up to a minute. This ice reduces the creature's speed completely to 0. This type of debilitating control for only a 2nd level spell does exactly what you would expect for an ice spell to do, which is to freeze your enemies in their tracks. Wrathful Smite takes our spot at number 16. This is only a 1st level spell, and unlike some of the other Smite spells, it doesn't upcast. Wrathful Smite, though, is available to paladins and most notably hexblade warlocks as well. The reason why I love this spell is because it's only a bonus action to cast. It deals your melee weapons damage plus 1d6 additional psychic damage on a hit. Then the target makes a wisdom saving throw. If they fail, they are frightened until the spell ends. Even more though, as an action, the creature can make a wisdom check, not a save, to try and end the spell. Not only is this eating into the enemy's action, but because the spell states that it's a wisdom check, and because the creature is already frightened from their wisdom saving throw failure, the creature then has disadvantage on their check, making the spell very hard to shake off. Moving into the bottom half of our list, number 15 is Demiplane. This is a high level spell at 8th level. In essence, this spell allows us to create, or a creature rather, to create a pocket dimension, a demiplane, that is 30 by 30 feet by 30 feet, made of wood or stone. We can technically trap a medium-sized creature in the plane, but it's more often used for utility. Each time we cast a spell, we create a new demiplane room or open the same room that we've already created. This spell is similar to Nav's hide and seek ability from Hunter x Hunter. It's a great utility option at higher levels, allowing us to store and access all of the loot that we've acquired throughout the campaign. Similar to Rope Trick, it's also a great place to hide, and if you're in a bind, you can restock and replenish all of the resources that you need. With number 14, we have Mordekainen's Magnificent Mansion. At 7th level, this spell lasts for 24 hours. Again, I must have a bias towards extra-dimensional dwelling places, but this spell does just that. We create this entrance which leads to a magnificent mansion. The atmosphere is clean, fresh, and warm. We create a floor plan of 50 10-foot cubes. The place is furnished and decorated as we wish, which allows for a lot of freedom and creativity in our design. The mansion contains enough food to serve a 9-course banquet for 100 people. It's fully staffed with 100 servants to attend to the needs of all who enter. The servants can even perform simple tasks for the party. I imagine just this fancy bard with a cane and top hat casting the spell to impress the party. The world of D&D can be harsh and dangerous, so having a spell that lets you recuperate in style is amazing. Number 13 is Pass Without Trace. Pass Without Trace, or PWT moving forward, is available to druids and rangers and is one of the strongest spells for both classes. PWT is a very straightforward spell. In principle, it provides a flat plus 10 to stealth checks for you and your entire party for up to an hour. A plus 10 to stealth makes your entire party ninjas when they're trying to move stealthily, either on an infiltration mission or a sneaky escape. This really helps the paladin or fighter clad in heavy armor. It reminds me of one of my favorite Naruto episodes where Jiraiya is sent on an infiltration mission to gather more information about the leader of the Akatsuki. He sneaks in through the water and navigates the streets of the village to infiltrate without being noticed. PWT is such a useful spell in D&D, as stealth comes up quite often if you're trying not to rush in guns blazing and want to go about it more stealthily. With the number 12 spot, we have Shapechange. This is another spell that I've discussed a couple of times, but it is my favorite 9th level spell. With this spell, we can, up to an hour with our concentration, assume a form of a different creature. The creature must have a challenge rating equal to our character level or below. So CR 17 is when we first gain this, all the way up to CR 20 creatures. We retain our intelligence, wisdom, and charisma ability scores, but everything else is replaced by that of the creatures. This means we gain their strength, constitution, dexterity, hit points, hit dice, armor class, proficiencies, and legendary resistances, but not their legendary actions. If we drop to 0 HP in the new form, we can just revert back to our original form before casting. While in the new form, though, we can retain the benefit of any features from our class, race, or any other source. Unlike true polymorph. This means we can also cast our own spells in the new form, while also gaining any innate spell casting from the new form and any new features the form grants us. Bronze dragons are actually my favorite type of dragon in 5e, and Shapechange allows us to turn into a bronze dragon. An adult bronze dragon is a CR creature of only 15, so we can transform into this bronze dragon as soon as Shapechange becomes available. The bronze dragon, or any other dragon for that matter, provides us with a huge pool of hit points, a flying speed, great ability scores, legendary resistances, multi-attack, a frightful presence, and 2 types of breath weapons. And with the number 11 spot, just barely missing out on my top 10 favorite spells in D&D 5e, we have Scatter. Scatter is a 6th level spell available to arcane casters, sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. With Scatter, we can move 5 creatures that we can see within range to help reset the battlefield. We can move our allies with ease, but if we want to move an unwilling creature, they must make a wisdom saving throw to resist the spell. Each affected creature is then moved 120 feet to an unoccupied space. I love defensive spells that help to save the party from danger, and Scatter does just this. Scatter can even help to save the party from a TPK. If you find that you or your allies are in a dangerous situation, so you didn't realize how difficult the combat would be or you've been rolling poorly, cast Scatter and get everyone to safety. You can even teleport some of your allies while moving an enemy or two into a harmful effect, as long as that space is unoccupied by another creature. This really reminds me of Trafalgar D. Waterlaw's Room ability in One Piece, and when he uses Shambles to move around enemies and allies alike. And that's it for the list. Be sure to check out my top 10 favorite spells in the description below if you missed it, and let me know your favorite spells in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Welcome to D&D Original